Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the video, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. It's going to be a mix of two unscientific reviews. So I'm going to be reviewing or comparing and contrasting two different audio recorders, and then at the same time, while I'm doing that, talking about the Olympus 40-150 and just my experience shooting with it over the past 2 weeks now. So let's get into it. So the two recorders that we're going to be testing, first off, is the Sony ICD PX370. I picked this up about a year ago at Fry's. It was just something affordable, easy to get because I am a journalist from time to time, and I needed an audio recorder because I couldn't really depend on my phone all that much anymore. I just wanted something with its own storage that wouldn't rely on the phone's available storage. So I picked up this. And it served me pretty well. But recently, as of a few months ago, I picked up also the Olympus LSP4 audio recorder, which is what I'm using right now and have been using in previous videos to either use as its own microphone or to use as a file holding place, just an external audio recorder as it is. So I just wanted to kind of test the two, compare and contrast. They are hugely different in price, so I wanted to see what you're getting for $60, which is the cost of the Sony, compared to what you're getting for $160, which is what the cost of the Olympus is, and see if there's a huge difference in audio quality using a similar file format, and then also the Olympus's better formats, which is the FLAC audio, which is what you're hearing right now. And while we're doing that, we're going to be talking about the Olympus 40-150 f2.8 Pro lens. Like I said, been shooting for the past 2 weeks, so yeah. So as I was saying, I did take the lens with me to go and take photos of some paintball for my friend's birthday, and it was super fun, and I was really happy that I actually had this with me. It was down to the wire that I got this lens, so I was very happy that I had it along with me. One of the biggest things that I liked about this when it came to using it on the field was the ease of mobility using this lens. I have used other full frame setups, with 70-200s and 300 primes and all these big heavy lenses, and the problem is your mobility really just suffers from the fact that the camera itself is big and bulky and that the lenses are big, bulky, and heavy. So having this being nice and light and small, and just the camera being nice and light and small, made it really easy to just run around the field like I normally would, as if I still had my paintball gun in my hand. It was about the same amount of weight, actually, if not less. And it made it really easy to get the shots that I needed, to get across field, to get the shots that I needed. It was fantastic for that. And the image quality out of this was fantastic. I had the camera set for RAW, but this was picking up everything beautifully, made it super easy. It was tack sharp on the focus, and it just made it really, really easy to get all the shots that I wanted. And that's the other thing, is that the versatility of this lens is out of this world. So if you're not familiar with Micro Four Thirds, it's a 2x crop factor. So the 40-150 is really an 80-300. So 80 is kind of like your, one of your prime portrait lenses, for kind of headshots and things. But I was able to get, some nice torso up shots when I was in the bunkers with the guys. But if I wasn't able to get in there with them, I would just zoom it into 300 and get some really nice candid shots of them, playing, or maybe if I was a few bunkers back and I saw something that was happening and I could just punch in right on it and get a cool shot of that. And I never felt like I was missing anything with this lens. It covered the entire field perfectly, and if I wasn't there to cover it, I could easily move over there, get it, and I would know that I had some really good images to send over to them by the end of the day. So the next weekend, I went to Thunder Hill Raceway, and I brought this lens with me again, and I covered the SAC Autocross racing there, and it was super fun. It was a blast. I can't wait to go again. These past 3 weeks have been, a first of many. So I was really happy that I had this along with me for the past, has it been 3 weeks? I think it's been 3 weeks I've had this with me now. So one really cool thing is that the camera that I shoot with, the EM1 Mark II, it has the ability to shoot at 60 frames per second in high-speed continuous using its electronic shutter. Now that was way too fast for me. I knew I would just eat through memory cards. I did anyways. So I set it for the mechanical shutter, and that does 15 frames per second. And this lens and its autofocus system kept up, no questions asked. It was always on point. I think I only missed like focus like 2% of the time, and that was mainly my fault. So this thing was always on focus, and that was the best thing about it. I never had to wonder, I never had to guess, I never missed a moment because this thing was just always like boom, right on there. And it was just utterly fantastic at getting everything that I needed, because these cars are moving, they're moving pretty quick. Like, it's not like they're moving slow and they're speeding up, they're braking, and then they're accelerating again, they're going around corners. So it's a very hard thing to track at times if you're not too sure about the track layout, like when I first started. So this lens was a huge help to my handicap of just first time ever shooting racing and also not being familiar with their track layout. So autofocus system in this was very, very, very good and very, very, very helpful. So another thing that this really did a good job on was, as the day moved on and the sun got higher in the sky and the track got a lot hotter, you get those heat waves that come off the track. This, for some reason, didn't really have any effect. Like, that didn't have any effect on the lens whatsoever. Sometimes the lenses can miss focus, because if there's the car here but there's like a heat wave coming up here and a heat wave kind of around here, it picks that up rather than the car. But this was, it kind of just knew, like, no, forget about that stuff. I want the thing moving. I want that big red Corvette. And it locked on every single time, and it never really even showed, unless I was doing like a really low down angle shot. Other than that, it was spot on every single time, didn't really show it. So I don't know if that's down to the coatings and the autofocus system, but all in all, it did a fantastic job on not letting that impede the shot. And actually, you did have the heat waves in there, but they weren't like really hard, crisp in focus. They were kind of just nice and soft out of focus. So it added a nice little element to the photos, but wasn't to a point where it was distracting or took away from the quality of the photo itself. Another thing that I really liked about this was that it's so lightweight. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the paintball shooting, is that with this lightweightness, I didn't have any fatigue. I know if I had brought, a Canon or Nikon system or any really full frame system with bigger, heavier lenses, I would be worn out so much more quickly. And I was really happy that I had this set up with me, because I was there from 9 in the morning until about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So almost an entire work day, pretty much. And I wasn't even exhausted from carrying this stuff. It was more because I forgot to put on sunblock and got pretty sunburnt. But other than that, I mean, this was, it doesn't really weigh all that much, so it didn't wear me down. I feel like I could have kept shooting all day if I had unlimited battery and unlimited card space. So yeah, that was just really nice to have and bring around with me. And I love that I can put this in my bag and it doesn't add all that much weight, because that was the one thing that I hated about my Canon system, is that I knew as I got higher and higher in the body quality, going to like a 7D Mark II and then to a 5D Mark IV, and then maybe one day go into like a 1DX Mark II, probably not, but I knew that I would have to have bigger and bigger lenses, and that means I need a bigger and bigger bag, and that means it's more weight on my back, and then I'm gonna get a roll. It was a whole thing that I just saw spiraling out of control, and I'm so happy that I don't have that problem anymore. I can take, 3, 4, 5 lenses, and they're not that heavy and they're not that big, so I can use a pretty standard sized bag and have this huge plethora of lenses to pick from, and not feel like I'm constrained by weight and size. So that's a really nice thing. And to wrap this whole thing up, my trip to Napa, I brought this because of all of the factors I just talked about. It became a no-brainer at that point that I needed to have this lens in my bag for pretty much wherever I went. I actually left my 12 to 40 at home home and just took my 17 because I knew that this would be far more worthwhile to bring with me than my 12 to 40. It hurt my heart to come to that conclusion because I do love my 12 to 40. That's what I'm filming on right now. But you know, this was just so good the past 2 weeks, and I was like, I gotta bring this thing with me. Like, it's light, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it wasn't a burden. Like, I didn't feel like I was carrying around a brick. And you know, if I never had touched the lens or ever used it, I wouldn't feel like, man, why did I bring that? It's one of those things, like, I'm glad I brought it, even if I don't use it or think about it or anything. It just sits in the bag, I don't care. But I used it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I expected to just use it to kind of pull in things across the valley, but I actually used it when we were in the wineries, outside of the wineries, in dark rooms. Like, it was perfect. It did everything I wanted it to. It worked as like a nice portrait lens at times, or just even a landscape lens if I'm doing more focused landscape types of shots. So again, super mobile, super lightweight, super diverse in its uses and abilities. The 2.8 aperture makes it suitable for almost any lighting condition. The Olympus in-body stabilization makes it so that you can keep it at a low ISO at 2.8 and get some fantastic shots inside. So all in all, I would say this lens, if you shoot micro four thirds or are thinking about switching to micro four thirds, is a must to have in your bag. I can't wait to get one of my own. Hopefully it happens very soon. I'm sad that I have to give this back. Yeah, I really enjoyed having this lens, and I look forward to having one of my own. And I should have started off the video with this, but I was not paid by Olympus to make this video. I just love their products, and no one's sponsoring this. This is literally all my opinions, all my experiences, and I'm really, really, really happy that I got to bring this along with me. So if you have the opportunity to rent this, try it out, and see what it's all about, I highly recommend it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you also liked the little audio kind of comparison thing that we were doing. I'll leave some like a little descriptor down in every time that I switch the microphones. I have it noted here and everything, so you guys can kind of hear the differences. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. Unscientific review as for the lens as well as for the auto recorders. Again, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share this video if you like it. It really does matter. Any comments, questions, concerns, grievances, or gripes, let me know, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.